Hello and welcome to AZAAZ, that is Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho. This is Volume 2, Issue number 3. I am your host, Greg Belknap. With me is Lucas, Wayne, and Landon as your panel of experts today. This is the show where we take your questions on our YouTube channel or our social media network, Club Zenatta, and spin those questions into Zoho Gold for you. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first question.
All right, this first one is from LaMonica Archer after watching my video adding fields to multiple modules in Zoho CRM. She says, what if you don't have those options? And the options I was discussing in the video were to add a newly added field to other modules. If you add a field in the edit properties, you can check add this to this, and this module when bundling fields. Is it a recent update or an older version of Zoho? So I don't think I made it super clear in the video, so you're fine there. But the option is only available on the leads module, and really that is it's meant for the lead conversion mapping so that it automatically sets that when you choose it. So create a field on leads, go into edit properties, and you can select the contacts, accounts, and deals modules or any combination of those that you also want to add the same field to, and it'll automatically set the lead conversion mapping for that field. But it's not available on other modules, sorry to say.
All right, and our next question is one that actually is posed to our finance department, and we've got a little video from John on that. John?
Hi, this is John from Zenatta. This question by Anthony on our YouTube video, Zoho Books Full Product Tutorial, asks, how do I adjust invoice templates so that I can make adjustments for services that are not a fixed cost? Well, Anthony, this is a pretty straightforward answer here. Let's go ahead and go into the demo account and see. So starting off on the homepage here, you really don't need to do anything in the invoice templates. All you'll need to do is create an item that's a service. So we'll go new, let's just do service, select it as a service, set it up as the account you want it to go into, as well as if it's going to be taxable or non-taxable. For this not taxable service, I'm going to go ahead, and you don't have to set a direct cost here for the selling price. You can put in whatever you'd like. It's just a placeholder. So for this example, let's put in $100. Go ahead and save that. Now, when we come to our invoices here and we create a new invoice, and we select that item, the rate here is what pulls in from your items, but this can be adjusted on any invoice that you have. So if you have a kind of baseline amount that you want to show here, or an hourly rate, you can adjust the quantity or the rate on either of these. So if, for example, this service took a little bit longer, you need to upcharge a little bit, you can go ahead and set this to $150 rather than the $100. And this change here does not affect the item that you've created previously. So by that, the rate on this current invoice will be $150, but the item itself will still save as $100 for that. So we can go ahead and show that by going to save and approve here. So here we're showing that the rate is $150. And then if we go back to the items and look at service, the rate here is still a base rate of $100 for that service. Hopefully that answers your questions. If you have any follow-up, please leave a comment below. Thank you.
And thank you, John. All right, let's get on to the next question. This is a YouTube comment from How to Send a Campaign tutorial in Zoho Campaigns. Kimmy asks, how do I make a 2-page email campaign? Now, for this question, first we need to figure out what exactly is Kimmy asking here? Because obviously, normally your emails don't come in pages. So when she's asking how to make a 2-page email campaign, I see a couple of different options here. One is she might just be talking about creating a 2-step campaign, in which case you just use a campaign workflow to send 2 different emails. But then it did get me wondering about good email formatting. And so, for example, I was looking at examples of other companies' marketing emails, and I came across one, for example, Uber here, that they do kind of have almost a form of pagination. They have just like a gray background, and then they have their different sections kind of on these white, cards that kind of resembles the idea of pages. So I tried to recreate that in campaigns, and I couldn't quite get it to look exactly like this. I can show you here that you can make your background, a different color. But the way the campaigns builder works, you don't have the option for adding like colors along the sides here, at least not that I could spot. So you would need to use some custom HTML for that. But then another way to interpret the question that I thought about was, is she asking, can I create multiple pages in one email? That is to say, I might have, depending on who the recipient is, they should get page 1 or page 2 or both. And for that, you could use something like dynamic content, which, if you're not familiar with, over here in the builder, it's these 2 squiggly bars. The dynamic content allows you to pick a text field or a text block, an image and text, or even an action button, and make it appear conditionally inside of the email based on a field in your contacts record. So if they are in a certain state, maybe you have a different message for them, or based on their country, whatever it is. So, Kimmy, whatever
Greg,
your question was,
real quick on your screen share, if you share real quick.
Yeah.
Go back. Yeah. And then hit the back on the dynamic content.
Mm-hmm.
And under design, instead of elements, if you click on the design, you can change the outer color there.
Yes. And it does. So it does make, I guess, yes, the whole thing gray. So in that way,
right.
Yeah, you could.
And then you can make it look, different colors on top of that, and kind of give the element of 2 pages that way.
Well, there you go. See, that's why we keep Wayne here. He comes in clutch. He's normally a huge disappointment, but every once in a while, really comes through. Yeah, always happy to have Wayne here. This is why we keep him around. But yeah, so Kimmy, whatever version of the question was your original intent, I hope it was answered. And if somebody had one of the other versions of your question on their mind, I hope I answered it for them.
All right, so this is a bigger one from Owen. He asked on Club Z on a post called Import New Excel Files into Zoho Analytics. He said, I have a vendor that supplies invoices in Excel format. We get around 4 per month with about 25 to 50 lines, and they're all the same format. I know I can pull these into Zoho Analytics for pivot analysis, but I'd like to avoid doing it manually. Is it possible to simply drop the latest Excel file into a folder and have Zoho Analytics monitor that folder for new files? Is it something that Analytics has a built-in feature for, or could it be done in data prep, or would it have to be done custom scripted? So Owen, for this one, and we'll get the other guys' take on this, I would probably go for either, if you get it via an email, you can use a Zoho CRM email parser to capture those attachments. And if you fetch it from somewhere, you can use Zoho Flow to have it place Zoho Flow to whenever you place it inside of a Zoho work drive folder. It can grab that Excel file and then upload it to analytics. So you can upload to analytics, but based on my experience, I think you would be only able to do it with code. I don't think you could do it just by systematically searching a folder for new tables. I don't think that'll work. So normally what we do is we get that either attachment or the file from analytics. We ship it to Zoho Sheet if it's coming from CRM. If it's already in work drive, it's already good. And then we download it in JSON format so we can upload it to analytics because it accepts better the JSON format. It's not always that it treats well CSV or Excel files, in my experience. So we tend to do it with JSON files, but that's what I would try to do. Just create it's a fairly simple script. You download the file and upload it to analytics whenever you get a ping for that update.
Yeah. And if you don't have the means for custom scripting, or you're just too darn scared of trying to go into Deluge, which I don't blame you. It can be a scary world if you've never stepped foot into it. But you can also watch some of my tutorial videos on how to get started in Deluge, and you'll be a lot less scared. But if you don't have time for that, I do like that you mentioned data prep. You can set up data prep to essentially, because it also depends, is there ways that this data needs to be manipulated in order to be ready to import, right? Like if you need to change like the currency, like if the currency is coming through with like the $ actually in as a string, you would obviously need to strip that out. Or maybe you want to move all the names to uppercase or something. I don't know. But yeah, you could use data prep to kind of set up those macros, and you only have to set it that one time, so that then every subsequent Excel file, you'll be able to just dump it in and say, all right, run my presets for, invoice CSV. So I think I would recommend starting with data prep, and if that is still feeling cumbersome and you want it even more streamlined, then find someone who can custom script it for you. Maybe it's us.
100%.
Oh.
Yeah. Who knows? The thing is, based on what he's saying, I think he doesn't want to do like the analytics import manually like 4 times a month, like every week. So maybe he doesn't want to do it inside of data prep as well. So, and data prep is not like we can load it via API or something. So like custom code might do it for him, and he it's scary, I know. And then inside of the table, if you need to treat the data, you can use formula columns there. So you can format the data however you want, and then you have the data ready for your pivot tables. So,
I guess another thing is that we did have a recent update in Zoho Flow. Zoho Flow now has the options for querying like a URL endpoint regularly. So you could set up a flow to like so if your vendor can like park whatever the latest invoices is going to be in a particular URL endpoint that you can just hit every time, well actually if you can do that, then actually you can just do that in analytics. You can create an analytics option
feed, right?
to a feed, and then you can just query. So that's what I would recommend actually, is see if you can get your vendor to like park the park that
URL
file somewhere, and then query that URL. I guess if they're not willing to do that, you could also you could do a work drive folder
Yeah.
and a public download link. And then if you just set the RSS feed to update and add, obviously not delete and replace, then you could have a work drive file that then you just update the version of it, so it's always the same file and the same location, but you just re-upload the CSV to the same spot, and that effectively
It could work.
you are still having to upload something, but you don't have to upload and go through the analytics import wizard every time. Yeah. And then you could a lot easier develop an automation that just updates that version of that work drive folder, or not folder but file. So
yeah,
you got us thinking, Owen. Thank you for this was a fun one.
Great question. Yeah.
All right, this next one comes from Andy Frenkeel, posted on Club Zenatta, archive deals after one, ? Title of the post. Says, is it possible to archive deals after they're closed won? Looking to free up space in my pipeline. On that note, is there any easy way to search by a job number? Thanks. First question there, any easy way to archive deals? No. And yes. You can't technically archive the deals at all, but if you create a custom view that just simply excludes closed won deals, then everything you see in the view, if you have it in, Kanban view or whatever, list view, anything, those will just not be there, right? You can still see them anytime you want, change your view. But if you just create a custom view that has no closed won deals, which maybe the active deals that's custom view by default, maybe that works for you. If not, just create one with exactly the criteria you need. But that's the easiest way to do it. If for some reason you need to clear up actual file space, then you'd probably want to use work drive or something, blah, 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 blah. But if you're just looking to clear up your pipeline as far as what you see, custom view, hands down. Second part of that says, on that note, is there an easy way to search by job number? I'm assuming by job number, you're talking about maybe like a custom field or, something like that on there. The easiest way, if you're going to search by a particular field, of course, you can do your global search bar up in the top. And if you have the exact number, it'll probably pull up that job if it's a unique number or that deal. But the next easiest thing, of course, you can always filter on the left-hand side when you're on the list view. But what I've seen done is you can create custom filters so that you just click on it and then it shows that filter. If you create a custom filter that is just, job number is 0 or something like that, just something simple where it's the job number is, then you click on that and all you have to do is just click and change the job number and you're essentially searching by job number there. So that'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a good one. I did have one other idea pop into my head about the sort of archiving thing. I guess something you could do is, if you have money to burn, you could set up an admin, like a user, right? And if you were to turn on like data sharing to private and then set up your role hierarchy so that this admin account was, top level, then you could transfer ownership of a deal to like that dummy user, and then it would disappear because that record would no longer be shared with you. So if you really wanted to make it disappear, that's one option. I don't know.
What if you wanted to make it what now?
Disappear.
Oh, okay, I got you.
For the listeners, I did a really cool trick, a really cool illusion.
There were flames involved. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Ray Polanco. Can you sync Zoho contacts into automation with the emails? And this is from the Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 full product overview. So I actually tested this right before the show right now. And the sync from CRM will not pull in emails or will not pull in contacts if they do not have an email and only a phone number. However, you can add contacts inside marketing automation without an email, and you can import a list with contacts without an email. So maybe this is a feature Zoho will fix in the near future. So you can still get them in marketing automation, I'm assuming, for SMS. So like if you had a whole list of them in CRM, you could just export that list and then import it into marketing automation. But unfortunately, it's just not syncing.
At least not yet.
Not yet.
What's it syncing about?
All right. So now Dana Casey asked in the YouTube video, everything you need to know about Zoho Desk. How do we block certain email addresses from being able to email us on Zoho Desk? So this one doesn't have like a built-in feature for this, like a filter emails feature, but you can technically mark either a ticket as spam or a contact as spam, and then you wouldn't get any tickets or any contacts from them anymore. So this is one way you can filter it. But if you know that there are some domains you don't want, you don't want to receive emails from, or you don't want to create tickets for, you can create a workflow rule that whenever a ticket is created, then you check the domain and auto close it, tag it, delete it, whatever you need to do to remove it from your list. But yeah, that we have two ways. They're not like built-in ways, but they can help you out.
Yeah, and if you're using the spam filter, then over time, Zoho Desk actually it learns from your the ones that you select to mark as spam. It will then make Zoho Desk better at catching spam in the future. So that would be the preferred way. It's a little bit more manual, but well, and I suppose I didn't actually check, but I imagine there's an API that you could hit to probably mark something as spam.
Yeah, I would say so.
So you could even could even do this via automation, but yeah, eventually it will hopefully be able to start catching those kinds of spam emails based on your preferences,
your
history.
I don't know the way you teach it. Yeah, it's going to capture your needs and filter it for it. Yeah.
I just looked. There is an API call to mark it as spam, so you're good there.
Great.
Thanks, Linda.
All right. Next question comes from Club Zenatta. Aram asks, we sell on different marketplaces and many different fees come out on each order. We have a custom flow that can update a Zoho sheet with all the fees for each order and pull in the reference number for each payment, but I just can't seem to be able to push the updated bank fee to the payment. If anyone might be able to help, please. So, Aram, I went and took a look at, you mentioned using Zoho Flow, and sounds like you're using it really well. Grabbing that order, updating a Zoho sheet, calculating all of the, total fees all together. And yeah, it turns out that in Zoho Flow, you can fetch a customer payment, and you can create a customer payment, and you can refund a customer payment, but there is no Zoho Flow action for updating a customer payment, which is what Aram is trying to do here. Because on a customer payment, there is a separate field on a customer payment record where you can denote what bank fees were associated with that particular payment. So Aram, it looks like you will have to use some custom scripting for just that piece. So you will need to use the API documentation to hit that update payment endpoint and pass in the bank feed. I will say, to help alleviate some concern, is that because the way you've described it here, it sounds like the payment already exists. You just have to edit that bank payment field. When you go into the API documentation, it's going to look like there's 15 different fields that are mandatory that you're going to have to pass in, but those are only mandatory in that they have to still be filled when you finish your update call. So you don't need to worry about passing in like the customer ID and all that stuff again, because it's already there. You'll only have to pass in just the bank feed because that's the only thing you're updating, and everything else that was already mandatory and has already been filled in will stay that way. So just don't worry when you see all those red asterisks next to all the parameters in that API. But yeah, interesting, just like how there's some endpoints that Zoho just doesn't. It's got it for almost every other item you can create, fetch, and update. But just for whatever reason, customer payments, you got everything except for updating. So you can always also click the little. There's a little link at the bottom of the list of actions where you can say to Zoho, like, "Hey Zoho, why don't you have one for updating customer payment? Because I need to update some bank fees." So click that as well, because then maybe eventually Zoho will add it.
Yeah. The other good news is that you can, if you want to just put it in the same flow and you got to hit those API points, you can just keep it in the same flow, use a custom function there or whatever. So it's not like you have to do a whole new whatever.
Yeah, what you can do is create your custom function, and then you can use the connection that already exists in Flow. There's a little button in the lower left corner of the Deluge editor called My Connections. You click on that. You click on your Books connection, view the details, and it'll give you a little string of what you called it, whether it was My Zoho Books or Z Books connection, whatever it is, and then you can put that as the authorization for your API call. So good luck,
and the function will become actually a flow block, so you'll be able to use it pretty much as you use everything else.
Exactly.
All right. Oh, traveling way back in time. I think this was the first video I did with the company. Buddy Quaid asked for our YouTube video, Google Ads and Zoho full tutorial. Great video. Thanks. It's an oldie. I don't know how good it was, but I guess it's still good. Question. When someone goes to your website via the Google ad, is it the forms they fill out that should have the hidden element? And is that how they get into the CRM, or does Google know who they are and will it push their information into the CRM automatically? Can you tell in your CRM what keywords and ad that CRM contact used to get into the website CRM? So a few things. You can install Google Tag Manager on the landing page, and that will kind of be Google's end side of tracking things to your analytics and Tag Manager account. On the Zoho form, assuming you're using Zoho Forms, you can turn on UTM tracking, which is, I believe, under the Sharings tab. And then you can go ahead and turn on UTM tracking, and you have to embed a code, I believe, into the header or the footer of your website. And it'll give you instructions to send to your webmaster. So it will capture it. There's another question too that also related to this that didn't make the cut, but once, let's say they get from your Google ad to the landing page, there was a question how do we capture the UTM information if they switch pages? And you can use a tool called UTM Grabber. It's a bit expensive. I think it's like $3.99 a year for like 2 or 3 websites, but it'll capture that UTM parameter from the ad word, and as it's hopping around the different pages, be able to capture it that way. So nothing is automatic. You kind of have to configure these things. And when you set up the UTM tracking in the Zoho forum, you'll have to add those fields, and we'll drop the link. There's a whole video I did actually on UTM parameters and setting that up and mapping it over to the CRM. So that video will help you kind of walk you through the process on setting that up. But yeah, it's pretty, I think I covered everything on that one.
Yeah. Once again, this is why we keep waiting around, because whenever we start talking about GCLID or UTM's GCLID, that's what that guy is for.
Yeah, see, these guys, when I get all this information, but then I help send it to you guys to take the analytics and actually put it into a presentable format
Yes.
for us marketers to understand.
Yeah, it's it takes all kinds. Takes all
Teamwork
kinds.
makes the dream work, right?
And my part of the
Absolutely.
purpose is just telling you all to do that, and because I don't have
That's
an
right.
idea how. I
That's
usually,
right.
I usually say please, right?
You
I
are
don't.
you are at least you're very polite. You're very polite. All right, well, that's
Yeah.
going to do it for us this week on AZAAZ. Thank you for joining us. As always, if you want a chance for the Zenatta team to help your business out, you can always head to zenatta.com, click on book meeting, and you'll be able to meet with a member of our team.
And for the ultimate Zoho resource library, where we give our honest opinion about all Zoho apps, go to zenatta.com/resources and check it out there.
And never miss a beat with Zoho news, our latest tips, reads, etc., code shares, and more implementations. We have so much stuff on this newsletter, but get it straight to your inbox every Monday morning by subscribing to our newsletter.
And join Zenatta's online community, Club Zenatta, where we share code snippets. You have a chance to interact with other Zoho users. Head to club.zenatta.com, and maybe your questions will end up on this very show.
It's totally possible. And if you want to get your team trained up and yourself in, probably less than a week on some of the best Zoho apps there are, go to zenatta.com/training. Don't go to training.com/Zenatta. You will not find it there.
No, they'll fish you. That's gonna do it for us here today. Once again, we would love it if you could subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel, like the video if you found it helpful, and please follow us on your favorite podcast app. See you next time.
Yeah, I confirmed. Training.com/Zenatta is just a 404 error.
That'll do it.
Never know.
404. 404.
And well.